Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Nicole and I make bookish content. Today I have a May TBR for you guys. I'm starting it 5 days late and I haven't finished a single book yet, so I think we know how this TBR is going to go. But let's pretend like we don't, and let's talk about the over 15 books that I'm going to try and read this month. If this gives you any indication of how many books I have on my TBR. So I wanted to break this into categories. I will be participating in 2 readathons this month, as well as doing some buddy reads and hosting a read-along, which you guys already know about if you've been watching my past videos. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the books that I'm buddy reading. So the first book that I'm going to be buddy reading is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, and this is about a girl from North Korea and her journey in escaping North Korea with her mother. But I've heard that this book is very thought-provoking and powerful, and I'm really excited to embark on this journey. The next book that I want to read in the month of May is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston, and I believe I got this in an Owl Crate box, and I was very surprised because first of all, the artwork is absolutely stunning, but also I had heard nothing about this book, and I'm kind of realizing now that I'm a bit behind in all the upcoming 2021 releases, but this was a very welcome surprise. I was supposed to initially be reading this in the month of April with my good friends Catherine Zofrea and Em from Bookish Potatoes in April, but we just never got to it. We had a reading date where we spent 4 hours, and did we read at all? No, we just talked the whole time, which was super fun, but we are determined to get through this book this month. It just seems like a very wholesome, great adventure story. I think it might be inspired by Beauty and the Beast or Sleeping Beauty. This is about a girl named Ceres who is safe in the kingdom of Aloria. It has been peaceful for hundreds of years, ever since the king made a bargain with the lady who ruled the forest that borders the kingdom. But as Aloria prospered, the woods grew dark, cursed, and forbidden. Ceres knows this all too well. When she was young, she barely escaped as the woods killed her friends and her mother. Now Ceres carries a small bit of the curse, the magic in her blood, a reminder of the day she lost everything. As a new queen is crowned, however, things long hidden in the woods descend on the kingdom itself. Ceres is forced on the run, her only companions, a small and irritating fox. It's up to her to find the legendary Lady of the Wilds and beg for a way to save her home. It's going to take everything she has to survive. Haven't really heard much about this book, but I'm definitely interested and I'm excited to review it. So the next book that I'm going to be buddy reading is Infinite Country by Patricia Engel, and this is a story about a family, and half of them I think are in Colombia and half of them are in the United States, and so it's kind of a tale on survival, being reunited, and family. It just sounds very touching and I've heard really good things about it. It's on Reese's book club and I'm going to be reading this with my boyfriend's mom, so I'm really excited. It's actually not very long either, so I definitely think that I could get this read this month. The next 2 books I'm actually going to be buddy reading with my friend Lucia from high school, and she already read both of them, so Lucia, if you're watching this, I am so sorry that I suck. The first book that I'm going to be reading with Lucia is Unravel Me by Tahereh Mafe, and this is actually the second book in the Shatter Me trilogy. This series is about this girl named Juliet who has this power where wherever she touches someone, she kind of sucks the life force out of them. Think Rey from X-Men, that's basically what her power is, and she's held captive in this military base, and there might be sinister motives for her, but she's not really sure who she is, and she's not very secure in herself, and it's very dystopian, and it's just a sequel. I honestly wasn't as crazy about the series as I thought I was gonna be, so I'm just trying to power through the second book, but you guys will see my thoughts at the end of this month and see if I'm going to be continuing with the series. The next book that I'm going to be reading with Lucia is Merged by Jim and Stephanie Kropfel, and I've actually talked about this in numerous TBRs, but I just haven't gotten around to reading it. But this is a sci-fi dystopian world where 7 of the country's most gifted teens will become nobles, hosts for the implantation of brilliant mentor minds in an effort to accelerate human progress. But as the line between what's possible and what's right draws even blurrier, the teens discover everything has a cost. It just sounds really suspenseful and low-key scary because, you know, technology is moving super fast and the this doesn't even seem like so crazy to me, but it will be very interesting to read, and I believe it's a standalone. We'll see. And finally, the last buddy read that I'm going to be doing is reading The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gowar. This is a very thick book, which is why I've been putting it off for months, so I'm sorry, Diana, if you're watching this. There's almost 500 pages in here, and I've heard it's a bit more dense. This is a historical fiction kind of magical realism possibly book that takes place in 1785, where Jonah Hancock owns trading vessels, and he finds out that one of the captains of one of his trading vessels has shocking news that a mermaid has been discovered. Basically, everyone starts talking about it, news starts to spread, and I just think it's going to be very interesting. I really haven't read anything like this in a really long time, so I don't know if I'm going to end up really enjoying it. I haven't really gotten into classics either, so I'd be interested to seeing what the writing style will be like, but I'm gonna be catching up and trying to read this as soon as possible. Yeah, okay, so the next book that I wanted to talk about is actually going to be a read-along that I'm hosting in the month of May. So from the month of April through June, I'm actually hosting the Cruel Prince read-along with my really good friend Christine from the Roomies Digest. The Cruel Prince revolves around two sisters who are twins, and they are humans who were stolen away and brought to fairyland, and their parents were killed, and they're basically brought up as nobles or like wealthier people in the fairy kingdom, but fairies don't like humans and they deal with so much crap. The main character, Jude, wants to prove herself and gain titles and a role in the high court palace, and she wants to be in the military, but drama ensues. This month we'll be reading the second book in the trilogy. I am so excited because I heard that the second book is better than the first one, and I gave the first book a 5-star, so I'm ready. So the next group of books I want to tell you guys about are actually for a secret TBR for a vlog that I'm filming, so I'm not going to give you guys a big summary on them. I'm just going to briefly list them, and then you guys will see the vlog at the end of the month, hopefully, if I can be on top of things, but I'm just going to list them really quickly. The first book that I'm going to be reading for the secret TBR is The Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany by Lori Nelson Spielman. The second book is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. The third book is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palprito. And the last book is The Check Please graphic novel by Ngozi Ukazu. And I'm very, very excited to be reading these books for the special vlog, so definitely stay tuned for that because it's so much fun and I'm excited to see what you guys think of it. Moving on, I do want to mention really quickly that I will be participating in Noelle 7 Pages, May the Force Be With You Readathon. I think that her concept of this readathon is super, super unique and cool, and I definitely am super excited to be participating in this. So first off, I want to state that I will be on the dark side, which is interesting because I feel like that's definitely not who my character leans towards. I definitely want to be like a Jedi, but you know, it was a readathon. I was kind of thinking of living my life a little bit on the edge, so I'm going to be on the dark side. So I'm just going to go through the prompts really quick and tell you guys what I'm going to be reading for them. The first prompt is read a book from a duology. So for that, I will be reading A Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo because my boyfriend has been bugging me to finish this book and I really, really want to know what my favorite people are up to. The second prompt is to read a book under 350 pages, and so for that I will be reading Infinite Country. The third prompt is to read a book with political intrigue or royalty, and for that I will be reading The Wicked King. The fourth prompt is a romance book, and I'll be reading Birthday Girl. Last prompt is a book with a black cover, and I will be reading Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. And I actually don't really know too much about what this book is about. It was definitely a cover buy because we love to see Asian representation. It just looked super, super cool, and I know it's fantasy, so let me just see really quickly what it's about. After years of training to become the queen's next royal spy, Saoirse Ashwin's plans are derailed when shamans attack and kill her best friend, Sango. And then Saoirse somehow restores Sango to life. Unveiled as the first soul guide in living memory, Saoirse is summoned to the domain of the Spider King. For centuries, he has used his influence over the dead wood, an ancient forest possessed by souls, to enforce peace between the kingdoms. Now, with the trees growing wild and untamed, only a soul guide can restrain them. As war looms, Saoirse must master her newly awakened abilities before the trees shatter the brittle peace, or worse, claim Sango, the friend she would die for. This sounds so good! It's like a dark YA fantasy that I didn't know that I needed until now. That's what I'll be reading for the last prompt of Noelle's readathon. Definitely, I will leave her description for her video, and you can check out about her channel. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that it's going to motivate me to get through these books. Lastly, the readathon I'm going to be participating in is the Asian Readathon. I didn't get a chance to participate in it last month because I wasn't super into booktube at the time. So this month I'm taking the opportunity to go all in and try to get prompts for every book, and I'm really excited. So the first book I'm going to be reading for the Asian Readathon is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. The second book I'm going to be reading is Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. The third book I'm going to be reading is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, and this is supposed to be kind of a Mulan meets Project Runway, which I think is really cool. I didn't really watch a lot of Project Runway growing up, but I do love fashion. I have a shopping problem, and I think that this is going to be beautiful. I mean, the cover itself is absolutely stunning. The next book I'm reading for the Asian Readathon is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nunn. So this is about Lei, who is of the paper caste, the lowest class in Ikara. Even so, rumors of her golden eyes have piqued the king's interest, and so she is ripped from her home and taken to the opulent palace, a gilded prison, her life now beholden to the demon king's every whim. But as Lei dreams of escape, she does the unthinkable. She falls in love. Her forbidden romance, enmeshed with an explosive plot that threatens the king's very reign, will force Lei to decide just how far she's willing to go to fight for her freedom. Girls of Paper and Fire is an extraordinary tale, reminding us that pure love and passion can transcend even the bleakest of fate. It sounds so beautiful. I had heard so many good things about this book, and really all of the books of the Asian Readathon that I'm going to be reading. So I'm really excited because these are all books that I've been wanting to read for months and months and months, but just never had a chance to, and I really want to get to it. Finally, the last book I'm going to be reading for the Asian Readathon is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This takes place in modern day Seoul, which is super cool because I visited Seoul twice, and I absolutely love it there. Everything about it, I want to go back so bad. But this is about 18-year-old Gu Myung, who is a gumaho, which is a nine-tailed fox who survives by consuming the energy of men. She's also half human and has a soft spot for people, so she won't kill indiscriminately. With the help of a shaman, Myung only takes the lives of men who have committed terrible crimes. Devouring their life force is a morbid kind of justice, or so she tells herself. Oh my gosh, this sounds like so much fun. There's clearly going to be a love interest. So I know that there's another book in the series that focuses on different characters, but I'm really excited to get to it. I think it's going to be really fun. The last book that I want to read in the month of May is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. And so my boyfriend's mom actually told me that she really thinks I should read this, and she said it's a very quick, wholesome kind of book. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. I love graphic novels or anything that has artwork on it, and I think this is going to be a really fun book to read in between maybe heavier books. Those are all the books that I have on my TBR for this month. It's very hefty, and honestly guys, I don't know how much books I'm going to be able to read. I do have a couple of vlogs planned for May though, so I'm really hoping that my determination and perseverance gets me through it, because I want to get these videos out for you guys, and I know that I haven't been posting as often as I normally have been. That's because I've been so busy with work and just other things I've been trying to do in my life. So thank you so much for being patient with me, but I promise you guys that there's a lot of quality content coming your way. Just please be patient. I'm trying to get it out as soon as possible. I'll see you guys all in my next video. Thank you. Bye!